Hello everyone, welcome again to a new episode in our Git course. In this video, I will try to give you an overview about GitHub platform, so let's get started. After installing Git, creating a repo, doing a commit, and experiencing some basic commands like git reset, git checkout, git revert, and git log locally in your local repository, now I think it's time to start interaction with a remote repository and work as a team in your projects. To be able to do that, we need a Git platform. In this course, we will use GitHub. So let's deep dive for an overview of that platform and let me explain its features. We will start by navigating to their website. We can start by creating a new account. To do that, we can click to sign up icon just in the corner and follow the steps described in this form. In my case, I've already have an account, so I will just try to sign in. Once successfully logged in, we are redirected to a dashboard with feed updates, repository. Here is the feed updates, my top repositories, and recent activity. We have on the header also the possibility to search using GitHub specific syntax, to search about repository, to search about files, and many other items in GitHub platform. Using the plus button, we can create new repository, import a repository, new code space, new gist, and to create either new organization or new project. Then we have the button to redirect us to issues page. And in this page, I will get my created issues in many public or private repositories with the possibility of filter with the state of our issue, closed or opened, and assigned issue and mentioned issue. And then we have a section called pull requests. I will try to explain that later. And then we have a notification section to notify me when I have mentions, pull requests merged, and so on. And I have also a big menu containing the status. So I can set my status in vacation, busy, and I can specify my status in vacation, outside, working from home. So this information will be shared with other users in my organization or publicly. My profile. In the profile, I have my personal informations, number of followers, the company if mentioned, the location, and the email address. And here's some gamification used by GitHub platform as badges to help the community grow fast. And here I have my popular repositories, and here we have a graph showing my contribution by year. So we have also in this menu the possibility to add an account, show our repository, our projects. We have also the possibility to navigate to GitHub Copilot, which is the AI assistant for GitHub, and it's paid $10 per month, or we can subscribe to yearly plan. And then we can show our organizations, enterprise, stars, started projects, because in GitHub we will see it just later. We have the possibility to start a repository. And Gist is just a website powered also by GitHub. And in Gist we have the possibility to write snippets and write and share a snippet of code and share it with other developers, for example. In this example, I've just created, for example, a file which is called JavaScript, jsfile.js, and in this file I have just a JS file. So we can share it using a script, or we can share it using a link. And here also Gists are revisioned, so we have a Git history in this part. Also we can call GitHub support, GitHub community, and other settings. In the settings we have the simple user settings, and we have other advanced settings, and we will see it later in other episodes in details when we need them. Now we will try to get back to our repositories and create a new repository. And we will create a new remote repository, and we will use it with our local repository, which is called Git course. So here, when I click new repository, I will type the name of our repository. Git will check if the name of repository is available or already taken. And now, for example, when I type Git course, it shows me in real time that Git course repo is available. And now we have a description which is optional. We have the possibility to make our repository public or private. We can also initialize the repository with a README file. We can also add a git ignore file, and we have a lot of templates for each programming language. And we can choose also a license for our project. So in my case, I will just create a repository. And then when I create a repository, the Git tool give me some hints to set up my remote repository with my local repository. And there is two cases. The case that we want to create a new repository, and the other case if we have an existing repository and we will just branch the local repository with this remote repository. In our case, we will use the second option. As I said, in this example, we will try to push our existing repository, our existing local repository, to our remote repository Git course. And to do that, we have to execute these three commands provided by Git. And the first command, git remote, we will define a new remote origin, and this origin will be pointing to this remote repository. And now we will try. Before to do that, we will show our repositories using the command git remote.v. And git remote.v, now it returns for us an empty. There is no configured remote in our Git local repository. So now we will try to add the origin. And once we've added the origin, now the git remote-v returns that for fetch and push we will use this repository. And now we will apply the next two commands just to specify the main branch, which is main, and we will try to push. We will push our code. Here we are using the HTTPS link, so we have to specify always the username and the password. I will specify my username and the password. Now it says that support for password authentication was removed by August 2021. So for this case, we will try to switch over SSH, and to do that, we will try just to change our URL. So if we do the same command, git remote add origin, it will not work because the remote origin already exists. So in this command, we will do another command which is called git set URL remote set URL. And now when we do the URL has been changed to SSH format. So now when we want to push, we will try to authorize it, and now permission denied. Why permission denied? Because we didn't add our public key to GitHub repository. So to do that, we will get back to our GitHub, and now in settings section we have SSH and GPG keys, and now we will try to add a new SSH key. For example, in the new SSH key, I will try to type my personal laptop. The key is authentication key, and to do that, we will try to follow connecting SSH to GitHub with SSH. Now we have, first of all, to generate our SSH key. To do that, we can just follow this command with the command SSH keygen to generate our public command. And here I will just type my email, for example. And here I have to enter passphrase. I will choose a strong passphrase, and we need to remember that passphrase because we will use it in all our Git operations. And now the SSH key is generated. Now we will get back and try to continue the operation. Now once we have generating, so we will add our SSH public key to GitHub. So to do that, we can just using, I don't know if the pbcopy tool is installed or not. I think it is installed. Now we will try just to add that SSH key. And now my personal laptop and the SSH key, we have informations about read or write. In my case, it's read write, and added on the date of 1 June 2024. And now when we continue our operation to do a git push, I think we will just enter the passphrase, and I think then exactly he is pushing the code. So the code is pushed to our main branch. To check if the code is now available in our remote repository, we have to check our GitHub account and now open our Git course repository. And in Git course repository, I'm seeing all files here. Here is the repository, and we will take a small overview about what exists in a repository. Now we have for each repository the code section, issues section to report an issue, pull requests to do pull requests to be merged in that project, actions, projects, wiki, security, insights, and settings to manage our repository. Here is the stars, so other users can start our repository if they like it. Here is the about, the description about the repository and some stuff. And we have a section for releases when we release a new version, and the packages when we publish our packages in the case that our project is a package to be used in other application, for example. And here we have the repositories or tags, the branches and tags. Here we have the default branch, which is main, and we have the tags of our Git. And here to go to file, we have the possibility to create new files, commits, upload files using the graphical user interface of GitHub. And here we have the code section, which containing HTTP SSH URLs, and we can download the folder as a zip archive. And here we have the commits, and here we can show our history. Now we have a single user, which is Hamdi, and we have a one-line graph because I didn't introduce for you branches. So now I will try to do the second use case, which is creating a repository, and we will try to use it locally without an existing repository, which is I will try to create a repository which is called GitHub overview, and I will try to initialize it with a readme, and I will try also to initialize also with the gitignore file for a template Java and the Apache license, for example. And now when we create a repository, we have a main branch created by default, and we have a readme initialized and the license file and the gitignore, which is the default template used by provided by GitHub platform, and it will ignore all files for a Java application. Now when we want to do that, we can use the git pull command, git clone, and to do that we will use git clone command. So git clone, it will clone for us a remote repository in our local and initialize also the local repository. When we do that, we have always enter our passphrase as I said, and now it's good. So now when I will do ls, I have a new folder created which is the same name as our GitHub remote repository. So we will navigate to this repository, and now when we do ls, I have the license file and the readme file, and when I show also the cached files. So I have the gitignore file and the git repository and the git folder which contain all the metadata for our git. So now when I will do git log, I have the first commit which is created automatically with GitHub platform to add gitignore file, license and readme file. And now I can, for example, create, for example, a file and in our src file, for example, app.java, and now we will try to add it, and we want to commit it using adding source java file, for example. And now when we do git log one line, it shows for us that we have the initial commit created by GitHub and my second commit, and now I will try to push it to the local repository using git push command. So git push command, it will synchronize my local repository with the remote repository, and we will cover it in other episode in detail. And now when I've pushed it, now in the remote repository I have two commits, and the first commit is created by the GitHub user, and the second commit is created by my user, which is a local configured user. So now we've arrived at the end of this episode. It was light to give you just a small overview about GitHub, and in the next episodes we will try to cover pull, push and other GitHub features in details. So thank you for watching and see you in the next episode.